something different.
Round two.
Round two. We did this with no audio, so it didn't really work. I'm Codgerson. This is son of Codgerson 1, Sock 1, and he's also UMR Hall of Famer. Got 6 kids. Only 2 of them have earned that honor.
Who's the other one?
Katie.
Yeah, not Scotty.
Not Scotty.
That's
Scotty
sure.
has not done it.
Sock 2.
Sock 2. Sock 3. But Doc 1 has come through, and the other ones are too young. So, Debbie recently was telling me that we need to make videos at UMR because in the future, like next year, 80% of all views will be coming from videos. That they won't want to look at those big tables we did. So, we've been doing this interview process where we're trying to interview all the UMR Hall of Famers. The other ones, I was sending emails, getting the responses back, typing those up, putting all the pictures together. Most recently, we did Flora. I've been trying to get in touch with Pierre Helikoski, if I'm pronouncing that correct, and Lupino. I sent out emails to them. I've not heard back from them. I want to get them in there too. So this is BryRog57, I think was the number.
BryRog57.
There you go. So he's been with us since the very beginning. I think he was living in Alaska when we started this project. So when I told him what I was doing, obviously Bruce Willis was the first page, Tom Hanks second, Julia Roberts third. Called him up with more suggestions, and he started firing out some. 2 of the ones he suggested that first night was Pixar versus DreamWorks and Marvel versus DC. And they turned out to be the top 2 pages of all for our pages. So they have a combined 1 million views, with Pixar being the top one. So, doing this a little differently.
Hopefully we get it right this time.
Yeah, or we'll just have it with no sound, and we'll just be doing this on the video. Alright, so I have roughly 10 questions for you, and you should now be aware of them. Hope you'll have better answers this time.
My answers were great.
So, your first actor that you remember by name?
Bruce Willis. 100%. It has to be.
That would be my son. So, good answer, good answer. Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I mean...
Do you have a favorite actress?
Your man crush became my first words. I mean, it's hard. I always loved Angelina Jolie, especially she was Tomb Raider when I became, was becoming a man, so that's always there.
Do you think she was the first actress you knew by name?
There's got to be another one, but she's the first I can remember.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's plenty of other actresses I knew prior to her, but I just, maybe Kirsten Dunst.
Okay.
Maybe, just because that's like, she was a kid actor, kind of. She was in like a Toy Soldiers movie. I remember that. So I would have been like, 10 when that came out or so?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe.
All right, we'll take her as the answer. Question 2. So Gus is a movie that I used to love when I was 10.
Gus?
Okay, Gus came out. And I forgot to ask this question the first time.
Okay,
so,
good.
So I wanted you to tell me a movie that you thought was great when you were a kid, and when you got older, you realized it's not very good.
Great. It's got to be.
And I can use some suggestions.
It's got to be something Adam Sandler. It's got to be. Although I think you think Little Nicky, but I remember being a kid and telling you that was probably the worst Adam Sandler movie. Do you remember that dinner? Yeah, it's like, what's the best Adam Sandler?
You and Scotty liked it. You thought we came out of Little Nicky, and you guys thought we'd just seen Citizen Kane.
I mean, God, it has to be something Adam Sandler that's just, anything from the early 90s that was like, it's just not that good nowadays.
I'll answer this question for you.
Okay.
Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. Loved it. Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights. Oh, I wanted to leave the theater, but him and his second brother laughing their rear ends off. Couldn't take him out of there, so he suffered through that whole movie.
I don't even remember that movie.
Okay, well, I took you to it, so there you go. That's your answers, okay?
Maybe Star Wars as well.
No.
Yeah, not the original, but looking back at the new ones. Yeah, looking like as a kid, like, oh, right, and then watching it now, it's like, it's not that good of story we're telling.
Okay.
Like when Natalie Portman falls out of the thing and she's like, oh, let's go. And she's like, okay. She falls 40 feet and she gets up and starts running away.
We have some Star Wars fans on here. Can't talk bad about Star Wars.
Well, they don't know about my Star Wars experience.
Okay. All right. So, speaking of experiences in theaters, one I remember very vividly is seeing Porky's in theaters in the early 80s. You've seen Porky's.
I
know
have
you
seen
didn't see
Porky's.
that in theaters. The shower scene
Mm-hmm.
and the scene we're out in the woods where the guy comes at him with a machete. Theater laughing so hard, I thought the walls were going to come crumbling down. Another one, The American Sniper. When it ended, there was just such silence. The whole theater just sat there, not saying anything, and just watched the end credits go until it came up. And we kind of just all quietly, out of respect, left the theater. You got any memory? And I don't want to hear about the kid threw up on you at Star Wars again. Okay.
Yeah, so this one I had tough time answering the last, but my first thought was Joker, just because like there wasn't like this big thing at the end where we cried or were sad or whatever, but like we just were like, we get it, we're sorry, dude, like okay, now I gotta go kill all these people. But then I also had the American Sniper experience, and then Logan was the other one. People were crying at the end of Logan when Wolverine died. So kind of the ones I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. Cool. Good answers. I like that. And I said previously that those first two I just gave you were good experiences. But I can also, when I saw the fourth Indiana Jones, saw it on a midnight show, it went off, and I thought it was a horrible movie, and they destroyed the franchise. And I'm sitting in my chair thinking everybody's going to hate this movie. The credits started rolling. People stood up in the theater and gave Indy 4 the Lost Crystal, whatever the heck, Kingdom of the Lost Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull.
Okay. Stood up and gave it a standing ovation. And I'm sitting in my seat going, I'm getting old because I don't understand this. So
I think it's like the Marvels when they would stand up and applause for that. Or Lord of the Rings. It's like, okay, why are we doing this?
yeah, but those were good movies.
No, I'm tired of superhero movies, but I'm not saying they're not
nobody
good.
else is.
Well,
the next batch is coming. All right, so you have any favorite actors? Bruce was your first one. Now that you've lost
I don't know if
my
he said he was
tutelage,
my favorite, but
who currently do you like?
currently, I mean, new age actors is, Leo's good, Christian Bale's good, Tom Hardy's good, Chris Pratt's good.
Chris Pratt. He's been good to us. Keep throwing out some Chris Pratt, though.
Yeah, he's good. I like his stuff. He got to hang out with Jennifer Lawrence, whom I also like. Yeah.
Okay.
Tom Hanks is good.
Speaking of Bale, he's going to play the bad guy in the new Thor movie. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I can still educate the young man.
Nice.
All right, so here's a tough one for you. Are you ready for this one?
Sure.
And I ask this about everybody. Who was your biggest influence on movies? Who got you to like movies?
It's probably my mom. Of course, it's you. I mean, everyone has their piece, but I think you had the biggest influence.
Okay, cool. So when did you realize like your dad knew just a little bit more about movies than he should know?
When did I realize you knew more about movies,
Yeah,
or that I knew that you were influencing me?
Well, both. I mean,
understanding the production problems of Tombstone
okay.
in like the early 90s. So, and I can still quote that to people. Well, did you know that Kurt Russell had directed a little bit of this, and they didn't have the horses because they were shooting another movie called Wide Earp, and she isn't as good as Tombstone, but they had all the big budget and all like so that,
that's excellent.
That's up there.
Okay, cool. So, all right, next question. Do you remember your first R-rated movie you got into on your own?
Well, you took me to Colors, which I don't remember.
I took him to Colors when he was like 2 weeks old. That was his first R-rated movie. We were terrified he was going to wake up and scream in the theater. He actually made it all the way through Colors. So, no, I'm talking about the first time you went to the theater, you bought your own ticket, and you got to see an R-rated movie.
By myself. I think it was House of a Thousand Corpses, and I went with a girl. I might have been 14, and they didn't card us.
Okay.
So, Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses.
Good answer. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Excellent. I know we're going to have to edit and see how much we have to do. See if you can actually make the cut.
Cutting room floor.
You're not cutting me out.
So, what type of movies do you like to watch? I asked him this on our first attempt. He just started listing genres like that was the question. No, the ones you like to go see.
I like just all the movies. I like I like comedy. I like action. I like adventure. I like dramas. I like suspense, thrillers, whatever. But I like adventure movies that have some type of suspense and that are funny and have action.
Excellent. Well, so my last question is, and you've kind of given me grief about this over the years, and it makes me wonder, was I a bad dad? So when you were about 5, I had you watch a movie.
Mhm.
I thought you would enjoy it, and apparently it might have terrorized you more than I thought. So when you think about John Carpenter's The Thing, do you think 5-year-olds should watch it or not? Because my grandson is here, and he's 3. You think he's ready for The
He's
Thing?
not ready, and I wasn't ready. And your argument that it's funny because it's cheesy, or at least the makeup and effects are cheesy, is a terrible argument. And I can tell you, I had terrors for.
Do you remember the guy's head over and he was crawling down?
Sure, I did. Sure. And the dogs being
So we're gonna wait on that till he's 6 to see The Thing.
maybe 8.
Maybe 8. Okay, we got it. It's actually right here on this DVD rack. So Brian, what are your favorite movies? Your top 3, 5, or 10? I usually ask 3. Some people have given us 5. I think Phil, who's another Hall of Famer, he gave us like 14. So
All right. The problem on the last time I answered this question is there's so many good ones, and there's so many different categories. I have a favorite comedy, a favorite action movie, favorite Christmas movie, and so on and so forth. So I just started naming Christmas movies, and then I went. But I settled on Children of Men, probably
Good
being
movie.
number 1.
Michael Caine.
Well, yeah, sure. Julianne Moore.
You know, he's playing John Lennon in that. Did you know that?
Like a
He's doing like his John Lennon
impersonation.
impersonation.
His joke about the storks is funny. 40-Year-Old Virgin is a great comedy. It's part of my childhood coming up. We used to watch it daily in one summer, so that was fun. What else did I say? I said Die Hard, Elf, Christmas Vacation. Those are all Christmas movies. But yeah, Children of Men definitely stays with me for.
Did you mention 40-Year Virgin?
40-Year-Old Virgin, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't
About
listening
that.
to you. I was going to watch the video and see what you said.
40-Year-Old Virgin, Paul Rudd, Steve Carell, Jane Lynch,
Kevin Hart.
I mean, who else?
Seth Rogen. Did you
Seth
mention?
Rogen is in there, yeah.
And Jonah Hill in there too? Somewhere around
Yeah,
there?
he's the eBay buyer.
with Catherine
Mhm.
Kinnear. You
Yeah.
weren't going to mention Catherine Kinnear,
No,
were you?
who else?
Yeah,
Elizabeth
actors.
Banks.
Yeah.
Lots of people are in that.
Lots of people. Excellent. Well, hey, as I said before, I appreciate all your support. Thank you very much.
You're
We'll see how this
welcome.
first video goes, and if we're ever make this might be the only one we make, but we'll start off. And I gotta show you that I am shrinking as I get older, so I'm standing on books. I don't look so small compared to him. Turn it off. Okay. Oh, he gets all this "I love you" that, and I get like 5 pops.
I said good night, Pops.
This is your last good night for a while.
I can text him.
Oh yeah, like this. Good night. Love
Hi
you.
guys, what are you
Talking about movies.
How can I read this? Porcus Monta.
Porky's Mania.
Where are you at them?
I don't know. We're gonna have to edit and see how much we have to do. See if you can actually make the cut.
Cutting room floor.
You're not cutting me out.